On this episode of the Carolina Sports Guy, hide the women, hide the children, folks. It's the Saints week, the dreaded New Orleans Saints. I'm going to make a prediction in this game, not just tell us what to look for, things to focus on in this game. Before we get into today's content, make sure you subscribe. It doesn't cost anything. Hit that bell notification to be notified of future videos like this on the Panthers. Pound that like button. Make sure you leave me some comments, folks. I love the dialogue. And if you ever get bored and just looking for some BS to shoot through, I've got a second channel where I talk music, I talk TV shows, food reviews, whatever it may be. It's That Carolina Guy. So if you got time, go over there, subscribe, leave some comments, check those videos out. It's a channel in its infancy. I'll go from there and leave it at that. All right, folks. It's Saints week. Very big week for the Panthers. Very big game because it's our first division game of the year. Now, I believe last year, I want to say, what were we, 1-5 or 2-4? I think we were 1-5. We split with Atlanta. We had one close game in New Orleans, and that's what it was. The second New Orleans game, they kind of blew us out last game of the season. And other than the two Tampa Bay games, which were close to a point, but they were the Super Bowl champions, and they had Brady, and we kind of expected that. But, we struggled. We struggled because 3 of the 6 games that we played in our division last year, being 1-5, 3 of them were close. The first Saints game was within a field goal. Sly missed a field goal to tie it or win it. We had a situation, the Atlanta game on a Thursday night where we lost by 8, and we beat Atlanta by 7. So that's pretty even keel. And of course, like I said, Tampa beat us by double digits, and then New Orleans kind of beat us pretty handily the last game of the season. I think everybody had cashed everything in. So this is a division game, and we've got to show up. And so this is going to be on the coaches and the players alike. We've got to get back to playing Panther football like we used to know. Now, first thing first, can the Carolina Panthers defense apply the same pressure on a better New Orleans offensive line, this front 7? I don't think they'll get as many sacks, folks. I don't think it's going to come as easy. Winston's a more seasoned quarterback. And, of course, you've got, your head coach there, Sean Payton, is going to adjust and scheme well. They do have a better line. Brian Burns, Hassan Reddick, and gang, everybody, Marquise Haynes. You got to substitute, get YGM in the game more. This defensive front, with Derek Brown in the middle, Daquan Jones, Davion Nixon, Brevion Roy. I'm calling everybody out. They've got to get in these games and play well. They've got to keep the intensity. They've got to keep the sacks up, the pressure especially. Because, hey, sacks are great. Sometimes they lead to fumbles. They lose the loss of yardage. You pin people into deep in their own end. Sometimes the pressure's better. Because sometimes if you get Jameis Winston back there throwing the ball quicker or more focused on being chased down, we might get some picks off of him. Might even get a pick 6 this week. So we've got to get that pressure up front. Now, key to the Panthers defense is going to be the secondary play. I've mentioned this before. You got to have more input and presence. It's got to be better than what we did against the Jets. Not that they played bad against the Jets, but it's kind of like we went into a prevent in the second half. And the Jets, started getting a little bit comfortable. The rookie quarterback, Zach Wilson, started hitting some of those players. So the secondary is going to understand that the pressure we got against the Jets, we might not get as much pressure against the Saints. It might not come as easy. Winston might have a little bit more weapons, might be a little bit more seasoned to get rid of the ball. And he's got Alvin Kamara, folks, and that's going to help. So we've really got to have the secondary step up, and they've got to jump in, and they've got to play more aggressive style of football this week. Can the linebackers ball out? I mentioned this in my 3 things to watch for video on defense. But can the linebackers ball out? Can Shaq Thompson? I'm hoping it's not a one-game wonder. If Shaq Thompson has another game or a game pretty much as good as he did the first week against the Jets, I'm going to be elated because that answers a lot of questions on defense. And it also is going to make us look like, man, I don't feel so bad about that contract we signed for Shaq Thompson now. He had the best game I saw in his Panthers career, in my opinion. So can him and Jermaine Carter, can they do what they got to do? We've got to have them. And remember, it's going to be a lot on their shoulders because Kamara out of the backfield or tight ends, they're going to have to cover these guys. And they're not really going to stop Kamara. But can they limit him? Can they keep his, knock some of those balls down? Can they cause him to have some drops? Can they keep and limit his catches to minimal yardage? That's going to be key for these linebackers. All right, we know that Sam Darnold's going to face more pressure. That's going to be key. We cannot afford to get down, 10-0 or 7-0 on the first drive by New Orleans or 14-3. Can't. We're not built to come back like that because the Saints defense is just going to pin their ears back and come after Darnold. And he's going to be tending to throwing interceptions or seeing ghosts or getting happy feet. And it's going to take us out of a run game with McCaffrey. We've got to focus and keep Darnold. The pressure's going to be there. Now, if he can handle it kind of like he did last week where he got pressure and find CMC, utilize your tight ends more there this week, Darnold. That's going to be key. Now, how can we utilize CMC this week? We don't want to overuse him, but we're going to have to make sure because the Saints D is going to focus on him, just like us focusing on Kamara. McCaffrey's going to be a focus, and they know he's going to get his touches. They know he's going to get his carries. Can he run in the middle of that Saints defense? Is he going to be able to go out and muster any yards on the outside? Can we get him on some screen plays? Can he go out in the slot and catch some balls? Can he get some little flare passes out from Darnold? And if he gets them, can he make some breakaway runs? Because if the Saints let him catch the ball and he gets 4 or 5 yards and it's 3rd and 7, they'll take that. If it's 1st and 10 and he gets a 2-yard catch, they'll take that. But it's going to be where it's 3rd and 4 and he gets 4 and then that 4 turns into 14. Or it's 3rd and 3 and we get him the ball on a little flare out or a screen and, he gets 5 and it's a 1st down and moves the chains. Or it's a 2nd and 5 and we throw him a little pass out or do some type of reverse or whatever we do and he picks up 15. We're going to get the Saints reeling here, folks. So we got to be able to use McCaffrey. We know that, but they're going to focus on him. I think, and I mentioned this in another video, tight ends are key for Darnold. Ian Thomas. He's going to have to step up in this game. Now, last week he had a nice catch in the second half, 17-yard gain, and he was open in the end zone, and Darnold just overshot him a little bit. If Darnold could have brought the ball in, if Ian Thomas would have got his hands on it, I believe he would have caught it and had a touchdown. Man, that would have been an awesome game for Ian Thomas. So he's got to step up. Dan Arnold's got to do better. Not that he had a terrible game, but he had like a couple catches, was targeted like 3 or 4 times, but he had like 4 or 5 yards in the game. He's got to have more catches than that. He's got to have more yards than that. We've got to use him in this position. That's going to be so critical and so important. Receivers have to force the play on the Saints defensive backs because defensive backs are going to be aggressive. They're going to try to pick them. DJ Moore's going to have to come up big. Robbie Anderson's going to have to come up big. And these are 2 targets that Anderson loves. I think this is where Terrace Marshall, he can work the middle of the field. We're going to have to use him. And I can't wait till we get Shi Smith back because I don't know who our 4th active receiver will be if it's Zylstra, but it's really going to be left up to the tight ends, CMC, and Darnold really getting the ball to DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, and Terrace Marshall Jr. Okay, Panthers must stay away from turnovers. We can't afford for the fumble we had at the goal line for the Saints like we did against the Jets. We can't afford that to happen. If we get on that goal line and fumble down there, we got to score points because the Saints have an explosive offense, folks. We know that they can score. We've got to convert in the red zone. I think we were 1 for 4 last week on the end zone. So we got a couple of field goals. We should have had touchdowns. So that's 8 points off the board. And then we had to fumble down there, and that should have been a touchdown. So we lost about 15 points. So when you look at that, that should have been about 34 points. Now, I understand we won the game, but we've got to convert in the red zone. 1 of 4 is not going to cut it. If we get in there 4 times, we've got to get 3 touchdowns at least. I don't mind a field goal once every 4 times, but we've got to be able to convert. Now, another key in this game, Rule, Brady, and Snow, they must game plan better. They've got to. Sean Payton has been around a long time, and as much as I hate his guts, I cannot stand the way he looks. I want to smack him in the face. He is a good in-game coach. He does make adjustments. He has his team prepared. He's kept that team afloat even when it looked like they didn't have anything left. He's still doing it, folks. Matt Rule has got to match that intensity. He's got to play chess instead of playing checkers. Brady's got to quit being cute. This is the week he's got to open up that playbook, get deep into it, and do something creative. And Snow, you've done good so far. You got to keep it up. Just don't go in that prevent defense kind of like you did in the second half against the Jets. Got to see what kind of game plan you can do against the better teams in the league, like the Saints, which they are. Okay, because Sean Payton is going to have his team prepared. And field position is key, folks. Carolina cannot afford to get down by 10 or more points on offense. It's not built to come back from that. So Charlton's got to still do a good job punting. Can't afford to miss any field goals. We've got to pin them back. We can't take these sacks and get in piss poor field position. So what's my prediction for this week? Well, folks, I'm going out on a limb. I'm going with my Panthers. I know that we're 3.5 points underdogs in this game, which means that's the prognosticator saying if we played the Saints on the moon, we would lose by 6 or 7 points. Okay? I'm giving us a 27-20 win over New Orleans. I think we can win this game. It's time to shine. Let's shake Jameis Winston up. Let's give the happy feet to him. And let's put the ghost back in New Orleans. They can take it and put it in their ghost pepper chicken at Popeyes or whatever. Time to get us a win here, folks. Keep pounding. All right, folks, what do you think of today's video? What do you think we need to look for in this game? What's your predicted score? Who do you think will win? Pound that like button. Make sure you leave me some comments. I love the dialogue. Hit that bell notification to be notified of future videos on the Panthers. And by all means, folks, subscribe. It doesn't cost anything. I'll see you on another episode of Carolina Sports Guy.